This is strange for me today because since we still lived in the UK, or in this case by the forms of the United Kingdom at the moment, but seems more accurately, there's still no luck of snow or anything like that. Well, at least until when it gets to like sometime in February, or in this case at the very end of January. I'm not exactly sure yet, but even then, we'll find things out in the future. So, hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Blossom here once again, and I'm from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, and also I'm the leader of the Forms of the Powerpuff Girls, as you already know about all about me. So anyways, welcome back to my Let's Play of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe via the New Super Luigi U game in the Nintendo Switch, obviously. So, yeah, last time we actually did manage to completely deal with everything but the forms of sparkling waters, and as you can tell, off-screen, I managed to able to actually complete it, not one, but 2 levels in the forms of an off-screen on my own time, but the forms of sparkling waters 1 and 5, but the forms of, like, you know, replacing purple spaces into blue spaces. So, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we are about to be moving on to the forms of Frosted Glacier. And before we start that world off, I need to purposely try to catch Nabbit first, because I don't think we actually just managed to able to discover that up until when it gets to the point. So, what I found was kind of odd is the fact that, specifically by the forms of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, is that sometimes whenever I decide to able to play as Nabbit in those 2 levels, as far as you might as well consider this, sometimes it just seems to able to actually not pop up until out of nowhere whenever I looked up on the map or anything like that. Sometimes it just seems that it usually happens for my part in this case. So even then, let's go ahead and just... Oh, stupid cheaps. That was a really great start for this video. In fact, because you know how the fact that most of these Nabbit chase sequence nowadays, especially by the forms of New Super Luigi U games case, it will be a lot more trickier, and plus it's a little bit more difficult than New Super Mario Bros. U counterpart. Well, at least to be more specifically, the Great Kaisers, all the way to almost later on throughout the majority of New Super Luigi U as far as I was concerned with this. But luckily though, there are 7 of those. Sorry about a little bit of attentions right there. So, and it looks like I'm having ourselves a really rough start on this too, but I'm guessing it's because those cheaps really doesn't want to able to catch Nabbits, so they just seems to do not like me as much. Which, I don't seem to have many harms about these guys, but other than the fact that they always pop up like nothing else, especially if you really want to catch this Nabbit on those pretty tricky levels such as this one. You really have to put up with a lot of timing requirements going on, especially because if you have to deal with the forms of the actual, you know, water kaisers and stuff like that. However, though, there's one thing I need to mention is the fact that if you keep on failing on those Nabbit chase sequence, what happens is the fact that Nabbits will go away until for about next couple of levels later. So even then, though, yeah, you do have to rely on the forms of a lot of timing requirements, unless if you have yourselves an easier items with you, such as the forms of the PA coin, as you can see right there, or you can able to actually use the Starman to able to actually just able to, you know, just make the actual Nabbit chase sequence on this level specifically a little bit more of a breeze. So even then, that's as far as we can able to consider this. So, anyways, we are done for reals by the forms of sparkling water. So let's get into the main part of this video. After about 4 minutes recording session at this rate, if you can tell by the forms of the actual time length, or in this case for this matter, almost 5 minutes, since we're going to be jumping into this particular video as a result. But even then though, let's get this thing to it, shall we? By the forms of Frosted Glacier -1, Bruisers, and Barrels. Obviously, this level's gimmick is obviously, you know, bruisers along the way, and especially noticeable there are occasional barrels where we need to purposely try to dodge them, because you couldn't tell by the forms of how the fact that the bruisers might actually try to knock those barrels right in front of you. So even then though, don't let that get to you, because obviously if that gets to you, then you're probably able to actually not going to able to survive in this level though. So even then though, luckily though, since I managed to able to dodge that for about a certain amount of time, and yeah, that's as far as I can say about this level. So, and obviously this is a vertical climbing level, so even then though, expecting we might actually stumble across by the forms of, like, you know, some abundance of constellations, including this little, I would say, shooting star of anything like that, which is really cool and impressive at the same time. So, I did that too early. Because if you manage to able to achieve the digit number, specifically any kind of digit number, like 99, 88, 77, or etc., you get yourselves a little bit of a nice little snowman Luigi at the very end of the level, but unfortunately I didn't show it off just because, well, my timing is a little bit more impeccable. Well, at least in terms of like for my skills to able to actually get to this digit number skills. So anyways, let's move on to Cooligan Shrooms in Frosty Glacier -2, and once again, we're going to be switching the characters over now into Toadette, and now we're going to be transforming to P-Jet. So again, it just makes it a little bit easy for the most part, but honestly, I think the Ice Flower will be a bigger help right here because of how the fact that not only... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. But in forms of how the fact that in the later star coins, most notably the second and... Okay, good. I almost get screwed over right there, but anyway, for the first star coin, it's very simple, but the second and the third one, I believe we do need to acquire the Ice Flower in order to actually make this level a little bit easier for you, if you really want to get those star coins. Mainly the third one, because, oh, I seriously screwed it up, haven't I? Yeah, I think I have, so, unless if I take myself my riskiest method to take invincibility frames, and, it doesn't seem to, it doesn't work like that. Well, it's kind of like a one that, it's a bit like how it does in that one level in New Super Mario Bros. U, that you have to deal with a thrill-spawning coaster, whenever you have to deal with a Starman chain reaction, that, you know, you have to able to rely on the Starman chain reaction before you get yourselves the third and final star coin, because it might be very impossible without it, so, and plus, it might not be possible to make your way there, so, oh well, we'll try that again, and, seems unlikely though is the fact that, unlike in Layer Cake Desert World, is the fact that I didn't die, but in forms of like, or in this case, I didn't lose any of the extra lives, or in this case, I didn't lose my lives in Layer Cake Desert, but for some reason, when we get to the future worlds, I always seem to have a little bit of a struggling for a hard time by the forms of the future worlds and onwards. I think it's most likely because of how the fact that the enemies themselves will have a personal data against me, because I keep on, you know, thinking about Mojo Jojo's army, but either way, though, that's as far as memories goes, but enough about that topic. So, yeah, today was actually forms of the 23rd of January, in this case in 2019, so we've only got ourselves, let's just say 6 more days to go, / 2 days to go, for Japan-only version, actually, or in this case in Japan's country, that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be released at some point in the forms of, like, you know, 2 days left for Japan's release, and especially noticeable for only 6 more days to go until the international version of the game, so even then though, like the English version for instance. But again, I'm not gonna talk about the spoilers, because even then though, I'll because, you know, we still need to wait until the actual game comes out, and what I found is stupidly unfair, that they just never seem to respond of how the fact that they want to able to block certain spoiler content. You know, kind of like how we did in the forms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, for instance. At least in the forms of that specific point right there, so... Anyways though, let's move on to Icicle Tower, and we once again going to be switching over to Nabbit, but again, we need to worry about is the knockback currents, whenever you're trying to able to get hit by those icicles here, and what I found is ridiculous is the fact that since we're going to be seeing spikes, as you can see right there, if you remember from the Nintendo Switch version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, if you play Funky Mode, basically just like Funky Kong, then Nabbit is completely invulnerable to spikes, as you can see there. But the only exception is the forms of these icicles from the ceiling over there, because obviously that will even be able to actually act out as a somewhat of a damage algorithm or something like that. But either way though, that's as far as I can see. So anyways, let's approach to this door here, and once again we got 100 additional seconds, you know, just like if you ever, you know, play as Toadette / P-Jet, whatever you wanna, like, call it that, but even then, though, yeah. And once again, we got to fight the exact same boss fight as of how it does it in Sparkling Waters, so even then, though, same boss fight as usual, except now we have to rely on the ice physics, so... Oh, what the... I think my timing on the spin jump is a little bit too early, I feel like, but anyway. So, another thing I just want to point out for this point today, that, today was actually forms of the actual, like, the ND's highlights, which is basically, you know, somewhat of an ND, showcase games they're actually going to be announced by the likes of the forms of, well, recently during today. So those are the forms of the actual ND games they actually announced so far, which there are Wargrove and Steam World, Quest, Hand. I think that's what it's at. I think that's what the title says on that specific title. And I believe also Crosscode and Immersed and Forager, Goat Simulator, the Goatee, and the Unrivaled Heroes, Double Kick Heroes, and finally Stardust Galaxy Warriors, which even then, it might be pretty interesting, but again, I'm not exactly a big fan of the forms of the ND games to begin with. Well, I do recognize some of those ND games by the forms of in a somewhat of the past and the future presence and all that stuff, which I do know there's one of them by the forms of Super Meat Boy. I might be curious to try that out on the forms of the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox 360 version if I want to be more precise, but I've heard from the fact that that game is incredibly challenging and difficult, especially if you really want to able to unlock one of the extra characters by the forms of I want to be the guy. Well, you're gonna have to able to actually do with the most brutal level design I've ever encountered. Like, you have to deal with a lot of timing requirements and all that stuff, but at least it does have a double jump ability for I want to be the guy character, or in this case the kid, whatever you want it to be more precise. But either way though, might be curious though, but I tried it before, but oh my god, it takes a while to get used to with the controls and all that stuff sometimes, but even then though, because it requires a ridiculous amount of timing we have to put things up with this stuff. I bet if Buttercup, we might actually gonna be able to play that at some point, because, you know, she is the toughest one of them all, which I'm sure enough she still is, but either way though, at least I'm still one of the middle when it comes to like those particular stuff, so. Anyways, now let's move on to Frosty Glacier -4, Weighty Waddle Wings. And I believe in this level we're going to be bumping into the forms of the actual weights, and especially noticeable with, of course, the Waddle Wings themselves. So, yeah, you get the idea with this for this one right there. So, anyways, let's go ahead and grab these star coins from here. Sorry about a little bit of a awkward silence going on right there. It's because, well, first of all, I need to concentrate on what I was going to be doing at, and second of all, there's not much else I can say, other than, you know, the ND highlights they've shown us. It's a shame that it doesn't able to actually act out as a proper direct, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure it might actually do, like, at some point in next month, before, like, well, obviously they need to able to release, well, they obviously already released New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe already, but it forms of about, I would say almost 2 weeks ago at this rate, and, also, same applies by the forms of Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, which we only got about, like, 2 more days left, actually, before that game actually comes out, in the forms of the United Kingdom, whilst they've already got that on the forms of the exact same day as New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, in the North America version of that game, and, things can get pretty interesting right there, so even then, though, yeah. And here we go, here's my favorite level in the forms of in New Super Luigi U entirely, and because of that, we are going to be able to have a little bit of a slide. Well, by the forms of the penguin sliding as far as I'm concerned, and basically you can able to actually get an insane amount of extra lives if you manage to able to, you know, kill certain amount of enemies sometimes. But I don't think we can actually come across most of them anyway, because I don't really think that we can able to actually harm those piranha plants or anything like that. Well, other than there are some occasional one-ups here and there, and I missed that one red coin, but oh well, it doesn't really matter, because this level's very fun though, because either way though, you know, you're going to be able to actually spend most of your time with the penguin suit and all that stuff, which I think is what this level's best recommendation as far as, you know, getting these star coins, not to mention, and also by the forms of the actual level itself. So, there we go then. And this is pretty cute though, with Toadette on the penguin suit. So yeah, that's a very adorable looking penguin suit, as you can see there. Even though that my gold flagpole at the very end, skills-wise, is pretty terrible, I'm gonna tell you right now, because I'm pretty sure it just dives straight in straight away, so it doesn't allow me to able to do an aerial recovery right there, but it forms it in the midair techniques and stuff. But oh well, no big deal. But anyways, let's move on to the forms of Frosty Glacier, the second ghost house, but the forms of Peekaboo Ghost House. So, And as you can see, we're switching again back to the forms of Nabbit once again. But don't worry though, we'll come back to that in this level again, because obviously not only do we able to actually replace the purple space into blue space, or in this case the purple clear space, and to replace that into the blue clear space, but also by the forms of how the fact that this level contains, you know, two exits. So the first exit is pretty simple, as you have to run straight forward, and I'm going to be grabbing those 2 star coins from the start. Then the third and final one was actually right where the secret exit is. Even then though, don't worry, we'll be back for that whenever we switch to, well, obviously switch to Luigi. So you probably get the idea with for this point here. So let's go ahead and do a triple jump right there. And we got an extra life for Nabbit. And I'm pretty sure at this rate that I'm guessing that Toadette was actually in the lead at the moment when it comes to extra life farming. So, but again, I don't think we can able to get the insane amount of extra lives in this game this time around, just because, well, obviously the levels themselves are ridiculously short. And there might be some rare occasions that we might actually bump into the forms of the 3 moon-ups, but only requires Toadette to do that. But I don't think we actually did manage to solve those just yet. Well, at least I saw it back in during the likes of the true final level in, you know, the new Super Mario Bros. U mode. So, such as like, you know, follow that shell. So, you get the idea with the solution here, so. Alrighty then, so let's go ahead and go back to this level for the final time and able to actually get ourselves off, what else? The secret exit. So, I'm almost gonna screw it over right there, because if I do, then I'll be really damned by that. So, okay, let's try this one again, and hopefully gonna make it. There we go. And turn back to the left side, because if you follow from here, then we would come across into a secret door. And what does that lead you to? Well, of course, not only do we get ourselves a secret exit, but also the third and final star coin. But I believe you only have like 1 attempt to do this, but it doesn't matter though, because either way though, if you keep on failing on that, you can able to actually pause the game and just quit the actual stage, unless if you're able to complete the stage first, and then no way you can able to deal with that. So there you go then. Of course, I still need to rely on the forms of the quick save option, so even then, well, after beating the main game, then I can simply save at any point worth noting for. So, but obviously I can't do that just right now, just because we've only, I'm presuming we're almost at the halfway point of New Super Luigi U already, or in this case for this matter, the 3rd quarter away by the forms of, well, the forms of the actual New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe game at this rate. So because of that though, we're actually doing pretty well. So, but even then though, sometimes trial and error death situations are still a little bit apparent, but because of that though, with the forms of that really annoying mechanic, they actually, you know, just trying to irritate me for the most part, such as like, you know, just, you know, performing a mid-air spin mapped to the same button as the jump button. But at least to me though, after about a couple of days since I actually played this version, more so to the forms of what I think, I'm actually used to it now. So even then, but again, it really attempts to really throws me off at points, especially because that's what platforming sections might actually comes in. But apart from that though, is once you're used to it, then you will be fine as far as you might as well think about it. But let me know in the comments below. Anyways, so here we go. As you can see, we actually did manage to already completely done with Flimpless Flows, which I'm presuming that's what their secret level's name is called. And yeah, self-explanatory, and nothing really can go wrong with it. Then obviously, if you complete that level, then it'll lead you to the forms of what else? A shortcut to the forms of World 6, skipping Soda Jungle entirely. So there we go then. So we got ourselves a, you know, a spine, you know, bone coaster right there popping up. And of course, we'll save the game here. And let's just move on. And actually, do we get ourselves a Nabbit chase sequence or anything? Because I don't think we actually come across into one just yet, which, if true, oh yeah, there it is. So, but even then though, let's go ahead and equip that, just a second, because we'll go ahead and switch to, you know, Toadette slash Peach, or in this case, Penguin Toadette, I should say, and able to actually, catch Nabbit for the 4th time in the forms of New Super Luigi U. So naturally, we actually on the halfway point of catching a Nabbit in the forms of the New Super Luigi U. And, yeah, let's just get into the forms of Fire and Ice, not to be confused as of one of those 3DS titles by the forms of, oh wow, you gotta be kidding me. That was a really bad start, because you see what I mean when it comes to like certain skills and the tactics and all that stuff, when it comes to like, you know, trying to catch the nabbit in most of the levels in New Super Luigi U. I always found it incredibly difficult sometimes, but once you're used to with the actual level layout, as soon as you can able to think about it for a second, then you would able to realize about something like that. So, looks like I have no longer gonna have to get rid of those mini mushrooms after all. Wow. It's just that I'm just still not a big fan of them, but even then though, they might be helpful in some cases, like hooking onto walls or anything like that, but the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it maps the same method as you get, but it forms the smaller formations of yourself, because, well, obviously the noticeable difference is obviously you can jump higher, and, you know, you can run up to the wall, in this game's case, and, you know, you get this solution, so... Anyway, for Fire and Ice level, not to be confused as the one of the 3DS titles, which is the forms of Sonic Boom series, but the forms of Fire and Ice. So, but at least even then though, that we might actually go ahead and deal with the Sonic Boom games, specifically 2 of them, not 1, because obviously straight off the bat, because the Wii U version is terrible all in all, and the 3DS installments, I think it might be okay to able to actually tackle those 2, but we'll do that at some point in the future, because we hold it up for these 2 for quite a long time, especially because of how the fact that we need to able to sometimes game back into the forms of the previous Sonic games to do a redo Let's Plays off of them. Well, we did done most of them by the forms of 2017, just because of the celebration for Sonic Mania, especially notable for Sonic Forces as well, both the 2D Sonic games, and, well, specifically the 2D games for the Sonic Mania's release date celebration, including the actual 8-bit counterparts as well. The only game's exception though, which are Sonic Pocket Adventure, because I don't have a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and Sonic Events 1, 2, and 3. And I know for the fact that in the Nintendo eShop Japanese version of the Wii U, they managed to have those 3, whilst we don't have it, so which sucks, because either way though, we appreciate it though we might be able to actually deal with every single Sonic Events games for that particular Let's Play. And also not to mention that I seem to still don't have the Game Boy player yet, because it might be pretty expensive from now on, so I think I should probably best to hold up for my cash until before when Crash Team Racing Remake is gonna come out, including the next new Sonic game, which is by the forms of Team Sonic Racing, and you know, you get the solution here. Alright, so as you can see, we are fighting against with Wendy O. Cooper once again, but this time around though, Pete Jet is going to be able to face off against with her, so it might be a proper girl battle. So, yeah, at least I'm a girl after all, and easily the smartest and the toughest between the 2. But either way though, I'm sort of like a combination of the 2, basically. So, anyways, let's get into it, and can I... Oh, really? I actually got a really bad start for that jump right there. I think that's my only problem. So, now, normally speaking, is the fact that, you remember when I said this before in the forms of the yesterday's video? I could probably save the forms of the Soda Jungle level in the next video, but turns out I'm actually going to be doing the exact same formula for how it does it back in the during the likes of the New Super Mario Bros. U mode for New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe Let's Play at the moment, just because... I just don't know why, because of how the fact that, while I'm not in a rush or anything like that, although it might be a little bit out of order when it comes to, like, most of the level layouts like this, but honestly, that's because of how the fact that I just want to get these, to get this game finished before, like, you know, Piglet still needs to get back into Super Mario Galaxy, and especially noticeable with the next couple of new Let's Plays we're about to be somewhat tackled through in the future. Like, we've only got about, I would say for about, how much days we got left? I believe we only got 9 more days left until February is approaching. Stuff like by the forms of the new Let's Play we'd like to tackle through, by the forms of, let's just say Yoshi's Woolly World, by the forms of the celebration of Yoshi's Crafted World until in March. So hopefully that some toys else will able to do that. And that's as far as I can go for. So looks like we got ourselves another airship fortress here. Well, in this case the first airship fortress in the new Super Luigi U game, but either way though, it might be still takes place in Soda Jungle, because yeah, as you can see on this little world border right there. All aboard, and right from the start, Luigi's head showed up, so that's pretty cool though. And then, yeah, what makes this level such a broken experience with Nabbit, though, as you can see right there, that, you know, he immediately bypasses every single enemies, including Mecha Koopas as well. But the only time we need to worry about, though, is these Sledge Bros, or in this case, these Sledge Bros, as far as you can tell, because obviously they might actually activate the, you know, the Earthquake and stuff, so they can easily stun you if you're not careful. And, yeah, that's as far as I can say. So even then, though, I might be curious about something. Is the fact that since, after all, that we're going to be playing as Nabbit or Toadette, it doesn't matter what characters you be playing as between the two. Well, the forms of, you know, Luigi or Toad, you start things off with, you know, obviously just 100 seconds. But then, if you're playing as, like, Nabbit or Toadette, then you would able to actually get yourselves, like, 200 seconds. So, throughout it, though, it might actually break the challenge. Haha, eat that, you stupid hammer bro. You're never gonna outright against with me after all. So, anyways, though, we got extra time. So this time around, though, we actually got ourselves 287 seconds. So we got, I would say, for plenty of time, actually, before you're able to actually tackle for this particular boss fight. So, but either way, though, let's just get this thing to it by the forms of Bowser Jr. the first encounter, which I still find it kind of annoying because, well, I think what to make matters even much more difficult this time around, though, is the fact that if you even select, let's just say Nabbit, for instance, or in this case, well, for Toadette, you know, she still behaves exactly like Luigi and Toad and Mario, basically, that if you get hit by these torpedo Teds, then you would able to actually get hit. But Nabbit, though, might have a worse time on this boss fight, though, because not only because you might actually having trouble with the swimming controls with Nabbit, but it's also because it makes the boss fight a little bit dragged on compared to before. But either way, though, because you still need to be able to guide the actual torpedo Teds directly right onto Bowser Jr. And sometimes I found myself just able to actually let the torpedo Teds just bump into each other. And some other times, though, as you can tell, that sometimes my torpedo Ted that I was currently using from the earlier ago, sometimes it just easily bypasses, or in this case, just went over Bowser Jr.'s cockpit. So even then, no, that's a little bit more inconsistency when it comes to this specific matter. But at least I'm hoping that until in the future anyway, though. Well, not right now, though, because either way, though, it's still a little bit early to predict at this rate. So even then, though, that's the way it should be able to expect it all too. So, anyways, though, let's go ahead and just keep on swimming with only, you know, Nabbit's feet rather than his arms, because obviously he cannot swim with his arms, because obviously he still carries his bag at all times. So, but anyways, there we go. That concludes the, let's just say the first level in Soda Jungle. So, but even then, we haven't got into that properly yet. And conveniently enough, I believe Nabbit was actually in the lead right now when it comes to able to gain extra lives from, because now we got 21 extra lives for Nabbit, and, well, for the most part, that's all we can think of for now. So, there we go. We are done with, well, let's say we're done for everything for now. Well, up until whenever I do this off-screen, I'm actually going to be replaying this level again on off-screen, especially with the forms of, you know, the Frosted Glacier Tower level, in this case the Icicle Tower, then I could able to actually replace the purple space into blue spaces on my own time. So, don't worry, I'll do that. Well, to be more specifically, just playing as Luigi entirely. So, yeah, let's just move on to the next world, in this case in Soda Jungle, because we already know about this, because we've already tackled just only one level in that specific world, to be more specifically. So, yeah, to get the idea with the solution. So, yeah, I guess we'll end things off here for this point, guys. So join me next time on Let's Play New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe in the New Super Luigi U playthrough. Is the fact that we are about to be exploring through Soda Jungle. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later, fellas.